Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. This is Tamika's Den. I am Tamika. Get on in here, y'all. Get on in here. Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. You are now in the den. So, guys, this is my review recap for Queen Sugar before they existed. Okay, season 7, episode 13. The last season and the last episode that we are gonna get. Y'all no more Queen Sugar. Oh, God. Although I'm missing you, I'll find a way to get through. Y'all are my family. Child, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. This had me all in my feels, alright? I was up, I was down, I was in, I was out, I was all around. I was nervous, I was biting my nails. Like, what is gonna happen? What we gonna do? What's gonna happen with the family? Because it really do feel like this is a piece of your family. If you've been watching Queen Sugar from the beginning, I can just say that when I first started this series, I was basically like, this is poetry in motion. And that really what it was for me, okay? From the beginning to the end, baby, all right? And I am going to miss it. It just told such a different story that we don't normally see on TV in such a great way. And whether we was talking about the cinematography, the storytelling, the actors, it was just, A's across the board, honey, okay? They did what needed to be done. I don't know how this daggone show did not win every award when it was time for award season, but trust and believe that I appreciated it, loved it, will miss it, and I'm sure there's many others, that feel the same way and felt the same way about it as I do. Now, honey, on this last journey, like I said, we was going through some things. We was trying to figure out what was going to happen, Micah still was out trying to feel what was happening with him. Charlie was down to the wire with this election. Vi and Hollywood out here trying to figure out what's going to go on with this foster care. Her business is booming. Hollywood out here winning elections and stuff, becoming one of the school board members, and he trying to celebrate and get it in, honey, and start it off the right way. We had some old people coming back in, showing up that we didn't see in a minute. We had Nova trying to still figure her stuff out and get down to the roots and, figure out why so many people from her past was popping back up and what she was exactly supposed to do with that. Ralph, of course, is trying to find his way. Still number one priority, get our daggone land back, okay? And of course, with Blue there, okay? I said last week, like, is Ralph gonna spill the beans, honey? Is he gonna spill the beans? And when he do, how is that gonna affect him and Darla, child? So let's go ahead and get into this episode and talk about it. Take it from the top, y'all. Now, we start out this episode. The family was basically out here living their best lives. We got everybody dressed in all black. We find out that Hollywood did win this school election, child, okay? So we doing a little celebrating. We out on the town. We at the daggone crabs table. He over here winning it up, and they are just having a funky good old time, and they saying, drinks on him, and they all just doing like this cheers, toast, and getting it in. And then we slowly seeing everybody getting home one by one. We see Darla and Ralph coming in, and they looking like they ready to be like, let's get it on, okay? And then we see Vi in Hollywood, and she like, not so fast. Bring it here, boy, all right? And she look like she ready to be like, let's get it on too, all right? And then we get to Miss Nova, and she over here calling up somebody. And I said, who you calling, Nova, girl? And child, it was Calvin. I could care less about some daggone Calvin. I was like, girl, I guess, all right? I guess she over here riding him, honey, like a daggone pony, all right? And that is how we started this episode off. But now, as we are going on, and getting to that next morning, she wake up and tell Calvin, like, I don't mean to rush you out or whatever, but I got some things to do. I need to get things sorted out, at my Aunt Martha's house. She's actually shocked that he remembers who Martha is. And he's telling her, like, because she says, she don't feel like she let herself go. Of course, she don't have that connection that she used to have. There was a time when she could just touch somebody's hands and be able to feel certain things and put certain things out in the air. And he was like, don't worry about it. It's still with you. He was like, I remember that. You have not lost anything. You still have it, girl. And so she was like, well, I'm about to be up out of here in about 20 minutes. And he was like, okay. So now she got had to get ready so she could handle her business, and he just sitting there laying and looking. I said, all right, Nova, we going to see what you going to do, girl. So now in the meantime, we see him Prosper in Hollywood taking this ride, and they're just talking about the Landrys, and Prosper saying how, hard it's been for him to basically see them all losing their lands and going through all the different stuff that they're going through. And, we see Darla hanging out with Ralph and Blue and True, and apparently Blue has some allowance that he ain't been spending, and he was like, why not treat my mama and let her have a little spa day, okay, a little manicure. She's saying it's been a minute. So she leaves, Ralph and Blue and True together, and she go ahead to have her, self-care day. And Blue is looking a little down, and so Ralph is basically like, what's going on? I hope nobody ain't bullying you at school or something ain't happening at school. And, Blue is like, nah, it's not like that. I'm not getting bullied or anything like that, but I actually just do not seem to fit in right. I'm not their cup of tea. I'm not their vibe. And, I don't care that much for them. And Ralph was saying, like, there's nothing wrong with being different, and just because you come from different backgrounds and you may have been raised in different ways, because Blue was like, we basically raised differently or whatever. And he was like, that doesn't mean anything. And he was like, you still could stand out. And he said, and at the end of the day, that your mother went to that school. And then here go Ralph Angel Child, he ends up opening up his daggone big ass mouth, okay, which, like I said, I was expecting him to do last week. I'm actually surprised he held off as long as he did, if we really being honest. He ends up saying, and your father went there too, your biological father. And so, of course, Blue is basically saying, like, well, he didn't want me. And Ralph was like, that's fine, because he didn't want you, but I did, and I wanted to be with you. I fell in love with your mother, and I wanted to be your father, whatever the case may be. So I stepped in and I took over that role. And he was like, does that make you feel away? And Blue was basically like, well, no, not really, because at the end of the day, I never even got to know him, and he didn't get to know me. So I don't think it's anything personal. And so I do and always did think and do think, especially with how we seen Blue react, that he's just a special little boy and he's a smart little boy. And I figured that he would really be able to handle this, like Darla wasn't giving him enough credit. But I also said from the beginning that I saw both of their aspects, where both of them was coming from, and how both of them felt. However, I don't agree with the way that Ralph did it. I think that that was a bad slip up. And as soon as he did it, I was like, no, Ralph, this was not what's supposed to happen. Y'all was supposed to agree and supposed to be trying to change each other's minds. And you just jumped into a whole big mess, And so after he did it, he basically had told Blue, like, don't say nothing to your mom, do me a favor. Keep this between us and let me speak to your mom first. Before you say anything. And Blue was like, okay, and they basically made a deal with that. And I said, child, you trying to tell a child not to say something, Ralph? Really? That's what we gonna do? You really think that's gonna work out? Okay. So now, we moved on from that or whatever, and we basically got to Vi, and her seeing Micah coming in and her being like, yo, what's going on? You shouldn't be here. You should be with your mother. You supposed to have been flying there to be with her, on election night. And he's over here like, nah, we got into it. She came on her face to me. I'm not trying to go. And so he gets mad at Vi as she keeps saying, listen, none of the rest of us could be there, so you have to go. You're the only one that could do it, and she needs that support system. And he's like, she got her friends, she got my father, she got, her campaign people. He was like, she'll be good. So he gonna stand up and get a little cute, okay, and on Vi's face, talking about some, I'm a grown man, and that's the problem. That's the same thing she was trying to do to me, is tell me what I can and can't do. And, she said, that's not how a grown man acts, though. You're not acting like a grown man by you behaving in that way. Grown men step up and be for their be there for their family when their family needs them. And she was like, first of all, watch your mouth, okay? Watch your tone and how the hell you talking to me while you at it. And so, she go ahead and she walk away from him and stuff like that. And I get what Aunt Va was saying, but I do get what Micah is saying and why he felt the way that he did. And because he's been being quiet for so long about so many things and doing what, his parents expect of him, now he's kind of standing on his own and in his truth and feeling like, I'm going to do what I want to do. I can't live my life for y'all. And, I get that part as well, but we definitely don't want to be disrespecting Aunt Va no matter how old we getting, okay, Micah? And so, we get Hollywood and Prosper and find out that he actually went to see Jacob, okay? Jacob was the one that basically was kind of the black sheep of the family, you know what I'm saying, that the Landrys and them didn't want to be bothered with, but apparently he still has stake inside this land. His name is still coming up as far as this auction, and so they try to go to this rum place he have and asking questions, and then he comes out and they end up meeting up with him, trying to figure out whether he's really going to be trying to get in on this land too, right? Trying to just see where all their eggs is at, okay? Now, in the meantime, we had Zala and Blue in the car by themselves for a minute, and, Ralph had got out or whatever, and she basically was like, Zala was asking him, how's everything with grandma, how's everything with school, and he was like, it's fine, and she was like, just fine, and he was like, well, I talked to Pops about it, so I'm feeling a little bit better about it, and he's right, I deserve to be there as well, and as much as any other kid, and he was like, it's about our legacy too, double as much as, the other kids, and so he was like, I have to remember that whenever I miss home or anything like that. And so she was like, yeah. And then she was like, absolutely. So she was like, well, what do you mean by double? And he was like, oh, well, grandma. And then she was like, that your grandmother didn't go to the school or whatever the case may be. And so he basically was like, oh, well, sometimes I forget. At this point, he's still trying to kind of cover for Ralph because he realizes the slip that he made. Darla catches it, so she's looking funny. She basically looking at him and then looking at, the store where Ralph done went inside. So we know that it's already about to be a hot mess with that, okay? Because she's catching on like Ralph must have told him something. Now, in the meantime, Jacob is sitting here talking with Prosper and, Hollywood, letting him taste his rum, saying how it's made and all of that, and they like, it's clean, it's pretty good. So he's telling them like, listen, I don't want nothing to do with that damn family. You can't help who your family is and what they do, but you can't help what you do, and he's trying to do his stuff on his own and build his own stuff. And so they was like, well, why is your name coming up if you're not registered with the auction? And he's like, well, it's probably an auto registration that just still has my name and automatically adds it. But he's like, I don't want anything to do with any of that. I probably just forgot to turn it off, but I'll look into it. And so he's over here bringing 2 more bottles and setting it on the table and just basically, doing a little salute for them to go ahead and click their glasses with his, okay? Saying how, he's done with all of that, and they're like, they wish him the best of luck on that, and they hope everything works out, for him. And so when they said that, he was like raising his glass to theirs, and they were still looking a little skeptical, and I was looking at him with the side eye too, because I'm like, Jacob, are you being, for real, or are you being full of crap? Because we never know when it comes to these people, okay? You can't never trust, some of what some of them are saying fully out here in these streets. Now, when we get back to Vaz is swapped, okay? It's on and popping. She getting a whole bunch of customers. She's getting overwhelmed. She about to have a daggone panic attack. She got Billy there helping her. She got Micah there helping her. It seemed like it ended up being a good thing that he didn't leave to go to Charlie because she needed the help. She got Nova helping her. Nova's like, girl, I got your back. Calm down. And so she's getting the orders so fast that she can't really fully get them out. At one point, she had to tell Micah, look, and ain't no to-goes except for the pies. Either they coming in to sit down and eat or they not, okay? Get that in check. Do this, do that. And they like, okay, we got you. So Nova was telling her, like, please, Vi, count your blessings. She's like, breathe, okay, breathe. I got you. You are going to be okay. Then Vi starts hyperventilating and even thinking about, whether this foster care is a mistake. And she was like, look, take my hands. Come on, take my hands, breathe. She's like, listen, Vi, say it with me, okay? We going to relax, relate, release, and break this all the way down, girl, and get it under control because you just getting a little too carried away now. She was like, all is well, okay? And Vi started repeating after her, all is well, now come on, let's get it, all right? And I said, come on, Vi, you could do this, okay? And so they start to go ahead and, trying to get things in order. And as that's happening, Billy walks to the front and we hear this voice talking about some, oh, well, I see y'all swamped is a little busy and crazy because you tell Vi is an old friend here that want to know, if they could use any extra help. And so Billy is basically like, sure, by the way, what is your name, honey? And baby, it is Remy. Remy in the building. Remy in the building. Remy in the building. I said, okay, Remy, we ain't see you in a minute. What's going on? Where you been? What's been happening? Okay. Remy done came through to see how he could help. So, of course, Remy was with Charlie and that didn't work out. And then we had him in the Nova fling and all that other craziness, right? And so now we get back to Nova, and I'm like, wait a minute, Calvin's still here? Like, did he leave and come back, or was he still here all this time, girl? I thought this was maybe a one-time thing. What is happening? Why am I still seeing this man's face, right? And we are seeing that everybody is pretty much checking in on this election at the same time, trying to see, where Charlie is at, what's her numbers and all that different kind of stuff. Nova over here, lotioning up her skin and putting the dishes in the sink. And Calvin starts talking about, like, what is happening with me and you? Every time you call, I come or whatever, and you keep calling me, but you saying you don't want to be with me at the same time. So Nova's like, you know what, you right, so I'm going to stop doing that. I apologize. And he's like, no, nobody is telling you not to call me no more. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I want. And she's like, I know what you want, but I may not be able to give you what you want, okay? I don't want what you want. And then he's telling her that that's a lie, that she knows she wants him. He knows he wants her, and he was like, the only lie is you pushing me away. We are meant to be together. He's basically like, I don't understand, what is keeping you from me, because at this point, I'm not a cop anymore. I'm not married no more. So everything that would have stopped us from being together, in the beginning or whatever the case may be, is no longer an issue. The only issue is you basically pushing me away. And so he's like, but anyway, I'm going to go. Okay, good night, Nova. And she's like, good night, Calvin. And I'm like, boy, Calvin, get the hell up out of here. Bye. Okay. I'm sorry, but I just don't like freaking Calvin for Nova. But I know it's not about what you like sometime, right? I'm sure plenty of you have had, friends, sisters, whoever else, family members, that you ain't like they man. And it's just one of them situations where I'm like, girl, Nova, you could do better, okay? I would have preferred Dominique Stadia or you be away with Dominique in Africa. But that's not the way, okay, they wrote the story. So we gonna go on with it. I digress, right? And so he go ahead and he leave. Now, moving on from that or whatever, right? We basically get Ralph Angel coming outside to Darla and sitting at the table, and Darla is pissed, okay? She's pissed off. She's like, you went and said something to, Blue, even though I told you not to, right? And he was like, listen, he said, everything you say, I do. You took the lead on everything, no matter how I felt, whatever which way you said you wanted to do it. I was like, okay, Darla, oh, you want to negotiate with your rapist? Okay, Darla, you want to get this money from the co-op, even though I don't want it? Okay, Darla. He was like, I've always let you take the lead. I've always done what you want me to do or whatever the case may be. He said, could you just at least let me explain and tell you how it happened? And he was like, what do you want me to do or whatever? I wanted my son to know how I felt or whatever. And he was like, can I tell you, what happened? And so she was like, no, all you're going to do is just override me. You're going to disagree with me with everything with Blue. And it's always about your feelings. You selfish and you only care about you. It's always your feelings. And he was like, well, you're not even giving me a chance to explain. She's like, I'm tired. I said, tired of what, darling? Okay, now I'm confused. Like, what are we tired of? Oh, I'm tired of your explanations. I said, really, darling? That's what you tired of, girl? She says, I'm tired of it all. I said, so what does that mean? Okay, what does that mean? I'm trying to understand, girl. Which direction we trying to go in now? So she get up and she walk away and walk back in the house, and then Ralph is just basically sitting there. So now, we get over to this election and realize that Charlie damn lost, child. Okay, is a Republican that ends up winning, and then Micah's feeling super bad that he's not there. So immediately picks up the phone and calls her. Nova seeing that she lost, Billy seeing that she lost, Prosper seeing that she lost. Aunt Vi in Hollywood is seeing that she lost. So at the same time that Micah's trying to call her, we also have Nova trying to call her, and we do not, have any of them get an answer. And then we basically see this silhouette, okay, that is supposed to be Charlie coming out and waving at some damn people. I said, really, we ain't even gonna see the real damn Charlie, like, at all? Like, I've already missed her and felt such a gap from her being here, and I felt like a lot of the issues they had would have not even probably got to the degree they were at if, we would have had Miss Charlie here working it out, all right? But nonetheless, they wasn't getting none of them or whatever. You're hearing them talking about her on the TV and talking about, her being married to Davis and all that other different kind of stuff, right? And even though she was the projected winner, she just basically was not going to be the winner and, was not going to be the one heading to Washington this year. And so, right now, Charlie ain't answering the phone. She don't want to be bothered, which is understandable, okay? So then, we basically got to, excuse me, y'all. We basically got to them, setting up this whole plan. Remy saying what parts he gonna play in. Them saying that they got up this $750,000. This is gonna be quite a day. They're gonna get it all together. They're gonna break it down, and we find out that Tola done woke up this morning and took baby True with her and dropped Blue off at Aunt Vi. I said, excuse me. And so now when Billy is bringing it up, because Prosper's like, oh, Billy, she's basically about to be in law school, finishing law school, whatever. She's going back to Chicago and all of that. And Billy was like, Dag, Darla was such a big help to me. Like, I'm mad that she's not here right now. And, that she had to go back and help her family. But Prosper picked up on, the look on Ralph Angel's face. And Ralph is like, yeah, me too. And so here go Prosper riding up to Ralph because Ralph had left and he was out there on the land. And he's like such beautiful land and beautiful home or whatever. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to get this land back, right? I'm going to try everything with all my might or whatever, right? That's what Ralph Angel was saying to Prosper. And so, Prosper was like, and what about, Darla? Are you going to get her back too? Like, he caught on really quickly that something was going on. He was like, I saw your face when Billy said she was gone. And so he's like, yeah, I don't know what y'all going through. But he was like, how the hell, she just gonna leave knowing everything that's going on with the co-op and she gonna just jump up and take my baby and not say a word, especially today of all days. And he was like, I can't believe this. One of the biggest days for our land. And so Prosper was like, look, I don't know what happened, you know what I'm saying? But I do know, the type of man that you are and who you need to be and stuff like that. And he was like, look at me, look at me. He was like, it's some things that I've never said to you or to any of y'all that I probably should have said from the times that I got to spend with your father, because I've always tried to step in and be the father that y'all needed me to be and be there for y'all in the ways that Ernest couldn't be here, with y'all anymore. And so he said, it might be some ways where I failed y'all, whatever. And he was like, I remember one of the things that your dad said to me. And basically it all started with, him mentioning a calculator. And so we kind of get into the past and have this flashback or whatever where Mr. Prosper and, Ernest is talking about this harvest that they're having. And Prosper was like, man, we gonna need a calculator. And then Ernest was like, a calculator? He was like, yeah, you got one. And Ernest was saying to him like, yeah, I have one. And that's Ralph Angel. He was like, that boy could count up anything, say what you want about him. He might be in the street or whatever, but back in the days, you could tell Ralph Angel some numbers, and boy, that boy could do that right in the back of his head like it wasn't nothing, okay? And so Prosper was saying to him, like, well, that's okay. He was like, at one time we was in the streets too, he's gonna be okay. He's gonna turn it around and all of that kind of stuff. And Ernest was just basically saying, like, we'll see. I hope so, right? From your lips to God's ears. But he was saying that Ralph Angel would just be walking behind him and just be able to do all those numbers right there in his head. He said it would knock me over like a feather. He was always so amazed by it, and he was like, he could do so much with this land, take it way further than he did and stuff like that. And so Prosper was telling him, like, man, you do a good job or whatever. And he was like, yeah, I do, but I feel like he could do more, and exceed all the things that I did. And he was like, I really hope so. And so he just had a lot of dreams and saw a lot in Ralph that Ralph probably didn't even see in himself. And basically that's what Prosper wanted to share with him and let him know. And so Prosper had told him, like, yo, go get your daggone wife. He was like, you got time to go ahead and catch the damn plane or whatever and get up out of here and come back. That's what's more important. Take care of your stuff. Go get your wife and leave all this other stuff, behind. He was like, no matter what happened, you push through it. You can't be fighting with her. You got to make it right. And so Ralph Angel was just basically like, okay, he said, you got time to be in D.C. before midnight, so get your ass up out of here, all right? And Ralph Angel basically, shook his hand and left to go. So, we waiting to see what's going to happen with that. Now, we basically get over to Vaz, and we got Hollywood sitting there, Micah still there. We got Blue there. And Micah comes up and apologizes and just says, listen, I snapped yesterday and I apologize for that. I didn't mean to do that. He was like, you were right. No matter what was going on, I should have been there. I messed up. And so he was like, that was wrong of me. And she was like, now that is what you call being a grown up. Okay. And so he tells her, like, he's still so worried about his mom because he haven't been getting no answer from her. And she's like, I know, baby. Me too, me too, me too. Okay. And give him a big old hug that only our auntie could give, okay? And so then, when we moved from that, we basically had the lady come and tell them that they are approved for this foster child, okay? And the foster child is on the way. This is a little girl that her grandmother had died when she was 9 years old. She'd been getting moved from, foster home to foster home. She was in 3 foster homes in 12 months. And, having a really hard time, very smart and doing the best she can with school, but do fall behind a little bit from time to time with everything that's been going on. It's hard for her to get settled. And Vi said, listen, baby, we are the ones for her, okay? This is our child. This is who needs to be with us. That's the one. We got her. We gonna take it from here. And her and Hollywood is just so ecstatic. So, Vi and Hollywood are officially foster parents, y'all. And I see this working out so good for them. I really do see this as one of their blessings. For a second, Vi was just starting to feel really scared about it, especially having a little baby. And she had even broke down when her and Nova was in the diner and was saying maybe this whole parent thing wasn't meant for her. Maybe that's why, she never had a baby. And it's like, nah, Aunt Vi, don't got nothing to do with that, because we see how great you are with kids. We see how you helped, Joaquin and his brother. We see that you literally helped raise your brother kids. So it's definitely not a thing of this is something that you can do. And I think that her and Hollywood are going to be a great blessing to kids, okay? And so Ralph Angel did go down to D.C., okay? He did go down there to find Gonzala. She still was giving him attitude, talking about my parents is sleeping and, you got the auction tomorrow. What the heck are you doing here? If looks could kill, he would have been dropped dead because she grilling him and giving him the side eye. And so he's like, look, I did not come here to argue with you, but I was not going to just let you leave and us not talk. Like, that's not the answer. He's like, I didn't come all the way here, to fight you or whatever the case may be, but you keep telling me to use my words, and then when I'm trying to use my words, you basically keep pushing me away and not listening. And he was like, you kept not listening to me about the Blue and Chase thing. And she's like, well, you're the one that keeps connecting them. There's no connection and there's no Blue and Chase thing. She was like, why can't you just let this go? And he's like, I can't let it go. That is the whole point. And so she was like, well, you're so righteous when it comes to Blue. You want to talk about honesty, but then you actually had him being dishonest to me. So how, real is your commitment? And he was like, no, I wasn't telling him to be dishonest to you. That's not what I said. What I told him was, let me be the first one to tell you. I wanted you to hear it from me. And so he was like, that's the difference. And he was like, look, I'm sorry. So she gonna talk about some, look, you're sorry. I don't believe you. I don't believe you for a second. I don't trust you. I said, watch what you say, Darla, okay? Because you're getting a little cute now. What you mean you don't trust him? Because remember, you the one that didn't even tell him that Blue was his child for years. So we ain't going to talk about trust, okay? And he was like, oh, so that's how you feel after you left and took my daughter to the city? You don't trust me? He was like, oh, do you remember what I said to you that night inside of the, what was it? The parking lot? I believe it was the parking lot. And so she was like, oh, no. About to tell him, like, don't you even do that or whatever. And he was like, all I told you was all I had to do all my life was basically whenever I thought about my life being bad or whatever, like I would think about you. And he was like, I could have said a lot during that time, and I probably should have. Maybe that was a mistake because my life was real bad at that time, okay? I was feeling real bad. I was feeling mighty low, okay? But, at that time, all I was thinking about was you. And he was like, when I look at you, you know what I see, all right? I see somebody that loves me more than I probably love myself. I said, Ralph Angel, you better tell her, okay? On the worst days and stuff like that. And he was like, I'm sorry for that. Maybe it didn't come out the right way. But at the end of the day, I've been trying to talk to you as much as I can because I can't do no more secrets. That's what's messed up this family in the first place. That's what we've been running from. That's what was messing us up. I cannot do it. He was like, so what do we do now? What is the answer, Darla? Okay? What is the answer? All right? So she had to think about what he was saying for a minute. And she came over and she gave him a hug. And I said, yes, that is more like it. All right? So we have a little moment with Remy and, Nova trying to catch up or whatever. And we found out that Remy done got married and had kids. That's what he wanted, I'm like, who you married, Remy? All right, who did you marry? Okay, they didn't tell us. But, he was just saying that, we all find our ways when we supposed to and get on the paths that we supposed to get when we supposed to, and Hollywood started telling him that he was ready and he was like, he gonna see, her there or whatever, because he was like, shoot, you got a whole lot going on. You go first too. You got that book, you got the movie, you doing big things. And so Nova was like, well, we both doing big things and we both the places that we supposed to be. And so as she's sitting there, her and Billy come in and sit down, and Prosper comes in behind and basically says, he gonna get some coffee before he go with them. And she was saying, like, what does this all mean? It's just been so crazy how she been seeing so many people from her past, and she feels like it's supposed to mean something or show her something, but right now she don't know what it is. And Prosper again turns around and starts to go into this flashback and have this memory and this story that he wants to share with her, saying, seeing the two of y'all sit here makes me think back to a conversation that me and Ernest had years ago. And he's like, Billy, as a matter of fact, it was at, your mother's funeral. He had came there and was giving support and giving condolences, stopped talk to Billy and then came him to Prosper. And he was just saying that hopefully one day their daughters would be as, old and wise as them, and they would be able to see things and appreciate things in a different way than they do now, or they were at that time, right? And they would know real love when it hits them or whatever, and not let it pass by, no matter whether it was man, woman, rich, poor, up, down, in, out, or whatever, and just be able to see it and know that it was happening for a reason. And so already when he's saying that, black, white, or whatever, and to be able to count their, blessings or whatever. And so he was saying how Claire was there for Billy till she was adult, but that's something that Nova didn't get because, Trudy wasn't able to stay there to guide her until she got grown and tell her things and stuff like that. And it was things that he couldn't tell her. And so he said, he really didn't know how. And, when it's all said and done, he just hoped that she would be able to, conquer those things and learn those things and experience those things. He said, you know, the last time that him and Trudy had broke up or whatever, she said to him, Ernest, she was like, love goes its own way just like a river. You know, you can't force it or make it go your way. It just rides the way that it goes. And he was like, you know, if you're smart, then you'll just basically look and see the flow of it and flow with it. And so that was his hope, you know, for Nova. You know, that was something that he had to learn. And so with him telling Nova all of this, I could already see the light bulb going on, okay? That when he's basically saying, you know, rich, poor, a man, woman, black, white, that we was about to see daggone Calvin ass again, okay? That's where that was all leading to. But that kind of gave her with the insight that she was looking for. Like, it came right at the right time, and it was words from her father that she had never heard before. So now we get to this auction, and you know, they setting everything up. They trying to figure out how it's gonna go. They got their game plan down, and they like, hold steady. You know what I'm saying? Go do everything as we plan, Ralph Angel. Okay, don't come out doing no crazy stuff. So they started up at 250. They go from 250, you know, 350, 450, 550, 750. Now we know that 750 was the max that, you know, Ralph Angel and them was saying they had. And then we know that Remy was supposed to be able to come in with a difference depending on, you know, the situation. So Remy automatically went to like 750, 8,000 or 800,000, I should say, and then just said 1 million. Like, let's stop even playing games and, you know, going up and down with these numbers, because they were saying like, how much did Remy have to spend? And they was like, I don't know. So when Remy came with the 1 million, I said, all right, Remy, come through, come through, come through, come through. We getting the phone back. We getting the phone back. We getting the phone back. Child, why Jacob bring his little raggedy behind, okay, up there talking about some 1.1 million, we here for the damn family? I said, I know you freaking lying. I know you are freaking lying. I said, let it please be some kind of back plan that they did that we did not see and we do not know about, because I know y'all not gonna let the Borderlones lose their damn farm, okay? I rebuke this, because we have all the other farmers basically putting their numbers down and saying, you know, we don't want no parts of this. It's all on you, Ralph. We got your back and we stand behind you. So none of them was gonna, you know, vote for none of the land or whatever the case may be. And Sam coming up talking his junk like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Y'all missed it. It's gone now. Nothing y'all could do and all this different kind of crap. So I said, okay. So now we went from that and we see that, you know, Nova basically goes, you know, back home or whatever, and, you know, fixing up stuff to go ahead over and pack up Martha's house, right? And we see him vying them, fixing the room for the little girl to come, and we see him Micah come, okay, and we do see Miss Charlie. Now I was trying to figure out, was that Charlie really up in this episode, or were these clippings that they did throughout the other seasons when she was already here? I don't know, but it was good to see her either way. You know, we see Micah coming, we see him hugging, we see him apologizing, telling her that he's so sorry he wasn't there, then giving her the breakdown of how, you know, this job that he's trying to take on works. We seeing this little beautiful chocolate girl, you know, show up at Vietnam house, and she's so shocked to see that she have a room. She like, wait, I got my own room? And she talking about, yeah, she know how to cook. She been cooking, you know, her grandma done taught her some recipes. Hollywood was like, well, I want to know all the daggone recipes and eat all the food, okay, that your grandma told you to cook. You know, Nova's here, like I said, unpacking her aunt's house and getting it ready and saying that, you know, with certain things that's supposed to be donated to the church and go through the church, and that, you know, she's assuming because her aunt didn't have no type of will that they know what to do with everything. And they get this knock, 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 knock at the door, honey. And Mr. come in and tell her, like, baby, I got some deeds for you. And she's like, deeds? And he's like, yes, baby, all right. We got a church house, okay? We got the church that's coming to you. We got the freaking, you know, study where we got a little bit of studying done coming to you, baby. And we got Trudy's keys, all right? Trudy's keys to the house. This is all yours. It all belongs to you. He was like, you Trudy's daughter, right? And so come to find out, she's like, Trudy's keys. That means she did not have the right keys to the room the whole daggone time, y'all. And now she had them. And now she owns this house and she owns the freaking church. I said, wait a minute, won't he do it? Okay, look at God. Nova got a church and a house, baby. Okay, he told her, because she was like, I'm sorry, D's, what are you talking about? He said, yeah, girl, for the church, you know. And he said, and it's a little, he was like, that was Trudy's church, you know. And she said, my mother had the church. She said, girl, in a reading room down the whole road. What you talking about? He was like, it's worn down now, but I've been looking at it, you know, looking after it for all these years or whatever, and it's all yours now. It reminded me of The Color Purple with Silly Gale stuff after, you know, Mr. died. But anyway, I mean, her so-called father died. That wasn't really her father. But anyway, you know, all of this is hers. And she was like, wow. She said, if the church is mine, then the house is yours. He said, yeah, girl, this all is you. All right. And so finally, when he gave her Trudy keys, she was able to go and open the door. And I'm sorry, y'all. Just got to keep it real. Y'all know I'm going to keep it real with y'all all the time. I cannot tell a lie. All right. I was mad that this was Calvin to be here with her and experience all of this and see all of this. Okay. I wanted him to wait outside. All right. I just did not care for him being there, but he was. Okay. And so then she goes in the room and she just was like, this is what I've been waiting for. This was the feeling that I was missing. This is what I needed. You know, not just feeling it outside of me, but actually feeling it within myself. And she was like, this is home. This is where I'm supposed to be, baby. So I said, okay, Nova, I ain't mad at it. Okay. But then she turns and tells Calvin, and you're who I'm supposed to be with. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I love you, and kiss him. And I was like, girl, bye, whatever. Okay, I guess, child, if that's the way we gonna do it, that's the way we gonna do it. But I was happy about everything else that happened in that situation, except for Calvin. Okay, I cannot lie. So then we move on from that, and we just got Micah and Charlie vibing. You know, they drinking on some champagne, and she's telling him, like, you know what? This is where you're supposed to be. This is what you're supposed to do. She was like, this is the moments that I love. This is what's really important. Because at one point, she was sitting there talking about, they going to be talking about me. They mad at me. They going to be going in. He was like, Ma, none of that matter. You know, remember what you told me? You told me don't worry about what they say and what they do. That is not about them. It's about me and what I want to achieve and how far I could go. He was like, this is when you got to apply all of that to yourself now. And she's just looking and really realizing, like, damn, yeah, my son is all grown up. Like, look at him schooling me and using my words, you know, back on me or whatever the case may be, right? And the more she hears the breakdown of the job, the more she's like, you know, this is actually a perfect fit for you. I could see you doing that. That sounds like you. And so they was able to talk and have a conversation and just see each other, you know, for who they are and appreciate each other and tell each other, you know, I love you. So that was like, you know, a really sweet moment with them. And then we see Vi and, you know, Miss Little Girl over here chilling in the kitchen, cooking it up or whatever the case may be, right? And, you know, chefing it up with Aunt Vi, they bonding and, you know what I'm saying, becoming a real, you know, family together, right? And then we see Darla and Blue and Ralph and, you know, Baby True with him just going and checking the land and all of that, right? And no, I'm sorry, before we got there, I'm skipping stuff, child. We got to Jacob, okay? Jacob went and saw freaking Sam Landry, y'all. And Sam all like, oh, how did you do this? I don't understand. Where did you even get the extra stocks from? And where did you get the money? He said, well, actually, I had some partners, you know, and Shay was, you know, Sam was over here throwing shade at his mama, talking about, well, your mama wasn't really about nothing. She was a scam artist and who knows what she doing now and woo, woo, woo. So he was like, I don't understand how you was able to do this. And he says, well, I had some investors or whatever. So Sam was like, well, I would love to meet them one day. He said, oh, that could be arranged. All right. And as a matter of fact, we're going to have it arranged, you know, sooner than later, baby. When he walked out in that hallway, honey, and we looked over, who was sitting around the table, y'all, okay? Who was sitting around it other than, you know, Mr. Hollywood, Mr. Prosper, okay, was in the building. Darla, Nova, I'm sorry, Darla, Ralph Angel, Billy, all sitting around. And so if freaking looks, baby, I said, pick your freaking face up, Sam. Sam face dropped all the way down to the damn floor because he just knew he was about to freaking walk away with every damn thing, okay? We had Miss P there, all right? We had Mr. Grumpy Pants there. And so he was like, what is this? And he dropped down his golf bag because he was just about to go thinking he about to play some golf. And he told him, well, me and my partners thought we would come with some integrity and vision to this hometown. People that really care about St. Joe. So we gonna go ahead and give Miss P back her damn land, okay? And right some damn wrongs. We gonna give Ralph back his land, okay, that was taken away from him, and it was taken away for too damn long, okay? And we gonna go ahead and have Mr. Prosper help me out when it comes to, the farming that I need for my daggone rum. And then we gonna go ahead and have, Billy come in with her lawyering, okay, and do what she needs to do as far as the laws go. And then we gonna go ahead and, make sure that everybody gets everything that they're supposed to get and that we could all win, 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 win. So how you like that? How you like that, Sam? How you like that, Sam? How you like that, Sam? I was like, yes, all right. I apologize for calling you Raggedy Jacob. Come through, Mr. Jacob. Come through, come through, come through, come through. Sam talking about this is ridiculous. He said, no, the only thing that's ridiculous is that your behind got away with what you got away with for so long, and the bus stops here, bitch. Get off. We get off, okay? We up in here. So now, he was saying that he got a call that was very persuasive from Miss Charlie Bordelon, okay, right before the election, where she hit him up and was like, I think we could talk. So Charlie came through and had a hand in this as well. She kept her daggone promise to her daddy that she was going to fight and she was going to get him his daggone farm back. Remy had his role to play. Nova had her role to play. Everybody played a role in it, and everybody knew what time it was, and they just wanted to make you think that you was going to win, that the good old boys had won again, right? But of course, once he came up and did, put his in or whatever, put his bid in, Jacob or whatever, Ralph was like, that's one of the best moments of my life because I knew we did it. It's ours and you can't take this back once and for all. You kept your neck on our daggone backs. Your foot on our neck and our backs like for years and years, generations and generations and generations. And finally you lost. But you got this big old fancy house you living in. So I'm sure you will be a-okay. All right. I said, I know that's right, Ralph, right? Y'all been stealing this shit from my family forever. And so he was like, we got a head start this time. You can't be mad at it. So, but he told Sam, we got one thing that you would never have, and that's love and family. I said, I know that's right, y'all. Okay. And they all went walking out. I said, I love to see it. All right. I love to see it. I love to see it. We needed this one. And so then we basically just see that Ernest is over here still being a guardian angel, looking at his family and smiling, seeing Micah doing his thing in his office, seeing Miss Daggone Nova out here pregnant by Daggone Calvin, y'all, okay? It was not well with my spirit, but it was okay with Papa Ernest, okay? We seeing, Ralph and Blue walking the land, and then Darla telling him you got to get ready for school, and then we still seeing Papa Ernest just looking off and smiling at Ralph Angel and walking behind them, and at one point Ralph Angel turns around and smiles back. Oh, child, how does my heart could just burst? Okay, we seeing him sitting at the table watching on Va, with Miss Little Girl over here cooking it up in the kitchen. Like, he literally was just coming through, checking on all his family, and he was like, all is well, okay? All is well. And that is basically how the episode ended, y'all. They finally got a win. Oh. Listen, y'all, I'm here for it, all right? But put it in the comments. Tell me what y'all thought about this episode, what y'all thought about this final season, this final episode. Let's discuss. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you are so inclined. Give me a wave. Let me know you came by. Put some flames up in the sky. All right, y'all. Till next time.